Alrighty, so thank you guys all so much for coming to the Morgan Horse Source this month, and thank you so much, Manya, for volunteering to come with us and share about all your, yourself and all of that.
Thanks for asking.
We do have some questions. Let's see. All right, so our first question is, what got you started with the Morgan horse industry?
Well, I got started in horses in general by my parents, no knowledge of horses, buying me a pony when I was 3, and realized very quickly the best thing to control the galloping toddler was to put her in lessons. And right around the corner was the Serenity Morgan Farm. So I started riding with Kathy Rutledge when she was actually 16 years old. And that obviously introduced me to Morgans. We bought our first Morgans from them, and I've hung tight with them and love Morgans more than anything.
So what made you want to specifically become a trainer and instructor?
You know, I rode with several different trainers in my junior exhibitor career, and equitation was my thing. And I always really looked up to them and envied their job. I thought it seemed like something, and I always wanted to learn more than just what I was learning on the horse. I wanted to know how to make it happen. And so I had parents who said, well, that's great, but you're going to college. And so I went to college to be a teacher. And then my parents gave me 1 year to make it happen. If you want to do this trainer thing, let's see what happens. And I got very, very fortunate and got some good clients right away, and didn't know half of what I know today, but made it work. And I'm so happy I got to follow in the footsteps of all the trainers that I envied back as a child.
What is your greatest accomplishment, either for yourself or with the students?
That's hard. I feel like there are so many accomplishments that happen that are on the everyday, like little accomplishments, a lesson, something somebody struggled with, and then we finally get it, and that's huge. And then you look at the show ring, and I think for me as an instructor, it would be when my daughter Elena won the Triple Crown at 13, that was pretty big. Or I've had gold medal winners in 4 seats. Those are all great. But then recently, I'm pretty excited. I have my second rider to make the World Cup team. So that's very exciting. So I think all of those. I mean, I've had some good accomplishments myself on horses, but I count the ones as an instructor as bigger and dearer to my heart.
Is there any one specific show or class that was really memorable to you?
That it's gonna make me a little bit weepy. No, it's definitely the Western Medal of 2022 when both my girls were in it, and as they counted down, they were the 1 and 2 sitting in the middle of the arena, and it was surreal. It was something I could never have predicted. Did I envision it and hope? Absolutely. But for me, that moment, that class will forever be in my heart. And, I don't know what could ever top that.
That's awesome. And what is your favorite division, either to ride or to teach?
Definitely equitation. And if I were to have to pick a seat, I don't know that I really could. I like things about each of them. I love Western. I do love Western equitation. I love the preciseness of it. I like the details involved with it. But saddle seat is super exciting. Hunt, I love it. Nothing makes me happier than working a rider at the sitting trot all day long. These are things I enjoy. So I don't know, definitely equitation though, overall.
How would you describe your ideal equitation rider?
I definitely think the number one thing is somebody that has the drive to do it. It's not easy. It's time consuming. It's a lot of work. And I feel like from very young, I can sense whether a rider is going to have the heart to do it, because it's tough. It's a commitment. And so for me, that's the number one thing. I think, anybody can ride equitation. I don't think there's perimeters that make any physicality better or not. You know, obviously, if you're more athletic, it might come to you a little easier. But I think if you put the hard work in, anybody can achieve good equitation.
And kind of moving off of that, what is the process to finding the right horse and rider equitation pair?
When I get to the point with a rider that they are ready to purchase a horse, I already know what style of horse I have in mind, size, energy level, obviously budget. And then once we go and we try horses, I always feel like there is a chemistry that I couldn't describe exactly what that chemistry is, but there's something that I see that you can just tell is going to make them a great team. A horse, as far as equitation goes, for me, I want patience, but I like a horse with a motor. The worst thing you can have is one that's like pushing a rope that doesn't have any energy to do it. So those are the things I look for in a horse. And as far as, you know, I am good at teaming riders and horses, and it is just an unwritten thing. I can feel like chemistry, you know, between them.
So what's one thing that keeps you motivated as a trainer? And like along the same lines, what's your favorite part of your job?
Well, it's the fact that I still love horses. I want to go to work. I walk in the barn every day and I'm thankful that my workplace is my happy place. So I can't imagine doing anything else. I love giving lessons. I think I'm a kid at heart. So for me, I walk in the barn every day and say good morning to all of them, and I'm excited when they answer me, and I love on them. And so motivation for me is that I am lucky to do what I love. So that and you know, that is my favorite part of the day too, is walking in and seeing everybody in the morning and checking in on everybody and figuring out what's going to happen, what horses are doing, you know, each day. And, you know, but motivation comes easy.
How would you describe your ideal equitation horse? I know you kind of already touched on that.
Mm-hmm. I want a horse that is patient, they don't have to be a quick learner. They have to be a willing learner. And I feel like in most cases, my horses, even the ones that are not destined to be an equitation horse, I do pattern work with. I think it's a good thing to kind of break the monotony of going in circles. So all of them kind of do that. And then, you know, for me, I think that just builds patience too. So patience is number one.
And going right from that, how do you prepare or train a horse to become the best equitation horse they can be?
I work all my horses basically, like I said, to do some pattern work, but that is their described position in life, to be an equitation horse. I once we work on basic stuff like circles and serpentines, and they master that, and we move gradually to the harder stuff. But each day I try different things, different ways of asking until we get comfortable. And then once they are doing that as a job, once a week, I have a day that's only patterns. I get on them, and from start to finish, it's patterns. And whatever is the hardest thing that we haven't achieved is the last thing we touch on. And we do it till we get it right. And then we stop, and they get praised, they get relaxed because they know they've done their job. And I have found that that has worked for me very, very well. The horses take to the patience of that. They understand pattern day. They know you're getting on them. This is what we're doing. And, you know, and then obviously they get to practice them with I also am a big believer that my show riders ride their show horses frequently. I don't believe I mean, they use lesson horses, but I don't believe in that separation. I think the more you know your horse, the better you are. So we do lots and lots of pattern work.
Why is equitation so important to you, and did anything else influence this?
It is important to me because it made me who I am. I was a shy child, very shy, and couldn't imagine doing anything in front of people, let alone going and riding patterns with everybody watching your every move. That would have, like, the thought of that would have just shrunk me. I worked at it very hard and worked at becoming a team with my horse. And suddenly you started not realizing that, you're out in front of people and you're out doing things and you're forced to get over that hump. And I think it built this huge confidence in me. And I like being able to do that for my students. And I think I've seen the results of that, not only in my current show family here. I feel like my grown-up students who have gone on to do great things that are, doctors and dentists. And I think a lot of it is based on not only the hard work ethic you have to have for equitation, but the confidence it builds and the learning you have to go through. So I think it's the most important thing out there, obviously, for me.
Do you have any advice for any equitation riders that might be listening?
Ask questions. Don't quit learning. You can never know it all. There's no end to the amount you can pick up from anywhere you look. Stay after, watch classes, watch people work horses, watch other equitation riders, go to clinics. I think I always feel like you can't learn enough. And don't be hard on yourself. If something's a little harder for you and you're having to work really hard, you celebrate your achievements as you go. Little achievements, it doesn't matter. That's the best way to keep a good attitude, I believe.
How do your riders prepare for the Morgan Grand Nationals?
That, I would say, is kind of an all-year situation. We prepare for all the shows similarly, but Oklahoma, obviously, the biggest thing is mental preparation. So we do our best. I have a rule where we don't talk about who you're showing against or anything like that. We set goals at the beginning of each season, and we talk about them, and that's what you're after. You're after your best ride, what your goal is. It's not necessarily winning. It's having the best ride you can have. Also, the Giant Book of Patterns comes out, which is a collection of every pattern that has ever been handed to me ever in a giant binder. And we do lots of random pattern work prior to that. But Oklahoma, I think the biggest issue is treating it like it's any other show. And I think my writers have done a really excellent job with that, but a lot of it is just based on knowing that you've put in the work and you're ready or you wouldn't be here. So ahead of that, that's what I try to make them focus on.
How did you come up with the name Dreamway South?
This is an interesting question. The reality of this is that I'm a big Aerosmith fan, okay? And my favorite song is Dream On. And I always talk about the kids chasing their dreams and, how to achieve them and such. And one day I thought, I really think I want Dream in the name of the farm. And it was because of Aerosmith, I gotta be honest. Anyway, and Dreamway became, and now you'll hear me, I will tell people, oh yeah, you're a dream away from, whatever, but it's really based on Aerosmith. And why is it Dreamway South? Because I moved my operation in 2014 from Northern Ohio, 4 hours south. So we added the South.
I know you touched on going to college to be a teacher earlier. How do you think that kind of played into being an instructor, and does it help you at all?
Oh, I think it absolutely does help me. I certainly do tell my parents that it was time well spent, because I think knowing how to, I did some, student teaching and such, and that did help. I mean, especially handling younger kids, because I was the youngest in my family. I really hadn't been around many little kids. So that was good for me, but I do think it helps. I mean, and I'm so thankful that my classroom is an indoor arena. That's all, the bottom line. I'm so happy that's where it is.
Are there any other things that you'd like the listeners to know?
Well, I think I would like to say, as far as equitation goes, I think everybody should put the work in, set your goals, try new things, and don't forget to ask questions. And that goes with me. Anybody who sees me anywhere at this point, come up, ask me if you have, I love to help riders. Nothing helps, nothing makes me happier. So to be honest, if anybody wants to talk to me after this, I'm in.
That concludes the questions that we had pre-prepared. Does anybody else listening have any questions for Manya?
I have a question. What is your favorite class memory that you've shown in yourself?
Well, I would say my favorite class might have been, I've got two. I would say when I won the ladies World Hunter championship with Jack's Blackjack, because he was a firecracker and you never knew when you were going to be good and when you were going to be bad. And that was a really good day. And most recently, I have a 3-year-old Western horse in training with me that won New England. And that was a pretty fun class, I must say.
I have a question. What exercises do you recommend to your clients to do to be strong equitation riders off of a horse?
I believe anything that will elongate your muscles is good. I don't, I'm not a big fan of weightlifting related to it. Anything that can stamina, running. I find that a lot of my students that really succeed do an additional sport outside of the horses, something that helps with cardio. But elongating the muscles, yoga is great. Anything like that, I am all about. But I've had riders that felt that being stronger and lifting weights have been helpful, and I do not like it. I think it tightens you up too much.
Okay, and is there some certain drills that you have maybe your more experienced equitation riders do repeatedly in lessons?
We do a lot of lunge line lessons where we take away stirrups, we take away reins. No stirrup work is very important, I believe. I also, I like to give lessons occasionally bareback, because I think sometimes when you remove the tack, it helps you really feel the horse. But I would definitely say lunge line lessons are my favorite thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you so much for coming and joining us and talking to us. That was really great.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you asking.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for everyone else for coming.
Thanks.
Yep. Have a great rest of your night.
You too.
Thank you, everybody.